How's it going, guys? Azanay Here. So this is my first top 5 graphics card for the March 2016. The video I'm doing, well, I did plan to make some kind of video like this in February 2016, but it did not turn out well. So this is my first video in my whole YouTube career about graphics card, top 5 graphics card for some other month 2016 or some other year. Well, most of them have uploaded their videos, but this is my top 5 graphics card for March 2016. I do like these videos on its performance and also some of the new X sales, because they give some of the freaking good new release games free with some of the graphics card, which increases its value when we consider the performance, side by side. So without any further ado, let's straight into it. For the first graphics card, I chose the Asus GeForce GTX 750 Ti. It's about $130, but you do have $20 made rebate, knocking it down to $110. Don't expect maxing out games. Every game's at 1080p 60 frames per second. You can't even think of setting the game to high. You can set the game to medium or low and get 40 to 50 frames per second. Most of the games, Witcher 3, Crysis 3, Grand Theft Auto 5, you can set the game settings to medium or low. You can't just go and keep the new generation games in high. So you can just set in medium or low and get 40 to 50 frames per second. That's actually very playable. Now for the second one, I went the Asus Radeon R9 380 Strix for $220, but you do have $20 mail-in rebate, so knocking it out at $200. You can't again max out every game's at 1080p 60 frames per second, but you can set the game to high or very high and get 40 to 50 frames per second. That's constant in most games like Witcher 3, Crysis 3, Grand Theft Auto 5, Far Cry 4, and the Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's a pretty decent graphics card too. There was another options like the GTX 950, which was about $150, and GTX 960 4GB card for $230. But we consider the GTX 950, its performance is so drastic, its price range for the $150. I think the 750 Ti is more comparable with the GTX 950, but it still gives a bit more performance with the consoles, but it's not worth it for $150. And the GTX 960 4GB card and the 2GB card is not so different, but when you consider the R9 380, well, it gives a bit more performance when you consider the GTX 960 4GB card. Now for the third one, I have the PNY GeForce GTX 974GB card. It's for $330, but you do have $40 minimum rebate, knocking it down to $290 for a GTX 970. And you do have a Tom Clancy's The Division free copy with this card. A GTX 970 with $290 and a free copy of The Division, that's just freaking good. And you can max out every game's at 1080p but not 60 frames per second constant. You can still max out every settings ultra and you can get 40 to 50 frames per second constant. But in some games like Witcher 3, yeah, still you can max out with the NVIDIA HeroX with this GTX 970 card. And I know the PNY, that's not the standard choice for any NVIDIA graphic card manufacturers, but still it's around $290 and it's not so bad. Most of them have PNY and that there's only positive experience, and you do have Tom Clancy's The Division free copy, and that's freaking good. It's just a new release card and that's a really good game. For the fourth one, I have the XFX Radeon R9 390. It's $320, but you do have $20 minimum rebate, knocking it out at $300. Now you'll be thinking I have the third card, that was GTX 920, that was about $290 after minimum rebate, and this card is about $300 after minimum rebate. So, but still you have a free Hitman game in this XFX Radeon R9 390, which is about $200. Now most of you guys will be thinking, should I go with the 4GB card or the 8GB card between the GTX 970 and the R9 390? But the question here is whether you should go for the Tom Clancy's The Division or the Hitman game. But still, the R9 390, you can max out every game's at 1080p 60 frames per second or 50 to 60 frames per second, and you can also max out games at 1440p getting 40 to 50 frames per second, because the R9 390 has 8GB card and that's textures. You can get more than the GTX 970, which is only 4GB card, but the GTX 970 can also max out games at 1440p getting to 25 to 45 frames per second, but that sometimes it might dip below 30 frames per second, which is not so playable. So the R9 390 is a better option. The R9 390 and the GTX 970 go neck and neck most of the times, but still the R9 390 outperforms the GTX 970 in most of the cases. And the fifth one, the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 980, it's for $490, but you do have $20 minimum rebate, knocking it down to $470, and still you have the free game, The Division, with this GTX 980. Now this card is seriously for serious gamers out there who want to max out every games at 4K resolution, 2560p. But still, if you are just a mid-level gamer who just want to max out games at 1080p, then I recommend you guys go for the GTX 970. But if you want to max out games at 1440p, then I recommend you guys go for the R9 390. But still, the GTX 980 is a beast card. But when you consider the price, it's $470, and if you just you're increasing $100 or maybe $150 from the GTX 970 or the R9 390, but I say that's not so worth it. The GTX 980, if you're having a GTX 980, you should have a 4K monitor, but that's not kind of always, affordable. So, well, anyway, it's not so bad card. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel because you're always notified when I upload a video. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.